Hello and good morning, for me at least. I hope that you're having a good day so far, and welcome to Passion Works Yoga. This practice will be done on the ground with quite a few props, so you may take a little bit of time to gather the things that you'll want for today's class and set yourself up on the ground on a mat or a rolled out towel or blanket. The props that we'll need for today are a strap for sure, a yoga strap or something like a belt or a scarf even would work. A bolster would be helpful, or like a bed pillow if a bolster is not something that you have. And a couple of blankets. So I'm sitting on a stack of blankets here. One of them is a little bit firmer, which I recommend if you have a choice, grabbing some blankets that have a little more firmness to them. This bottom blanket is a little bit softer, which is fine, but definitely recommend the firmer side if you have them. I have my chair here as well. It might be nice to have something like that nearby you, something that you can hold on to, put your hands onto, if you have something like that nearby you. So feel free to pause the video and gather the things that you need if that's the case, and we'll get started. And we'll start seated today. So like I said, I have my stack of blankets, and I like that. I like sitting on a stack because it helps to create this extra space in the spine. So a lot of times when we're seated just on the ground or in a chair, the sacrum, the back of the pelvis here, kind of puffs out and creates this sort of rounding. And I'm definitely exaggerating that right now, but generally that's kind of what happens, what is natural, and creating some elevation. This helps to kind of draw the sacrum in, lift up in the sides of the body, and also helps relax my hip creases. So just a little background as to what the blankets, what the height is for. And you can really stack as many blankets as you want if you want a higher seat to sit on. Make yourself a little throne, a little meditation seat. And we'll begin with a little bit of time to settle. So you can close your eyes here, or maybe find a steady gaze out in front of you. Softening the eyes. And let your jaw unhinge. And let the space inside the mouth soften. And let your tongue relax down to its root. Let your shoulders soften away from the ears. Maybe you sense the center of the chest, the sternum, lifting up a little bit. Just a lift of the chest, broaden across the collarbones. Bring awareness to your hands, letting your hands soften wherever they're resting. And begin to notice your breath. Is your breath moving in and out of your nose? Or in and out of your mouth? You may notice the temperature of your breath. as it moves in, the temperature as it moves out. And getting a little bit heavier down in the sitting bones. You may notice the bottoms of the feet and any other places of contact. Your body meeting the earth. Let's stretch the arms up and overhead. So reaching the fingertips up and kind of inching up and out of the waist a little bit here. Like you're making some space in the low back, maybe reaching through one side and then the other. A little reach and lengthen. And bring the hands together in front of the heart. Pause for a moment. Anjali Mudra. A nice place for intention. Asking yourself what is important to you. What does this practice mean for you today? Maybe you don't know that yet, and that's okay. Just the inquiry is enough. For the next few moments, acknowledging yourself for showing up to practice and all that it took to get you to where you are right now. Acknowledging the courage that it takes. Taking a breath in and a breath out. And gently release the mudra. Let your chin drop down towards the chest. And if your eyes were closed, gently open them. You can lift your head back up. And let's switch the cross of the legs. So whatever foot was in the front, go ahead and move it to the back. Grounding down through the sitting bones. And finding your long back again, strong and steady. And let's take a hold of our strap and take both hands, hold on to the strap. So there's a space that's about the length of your arm, maybe. About a little bit wider than your shoulder distance apart. Holding your strap out in front of you. You'll want to tug the strap taut, but not tight. So it's got a little bit of give to it, but it's sturdy where it is. And take a look at your wrists, just letting the wrists line up with the lower part of your arms so they're not turning in here, just preventing unnecessary tension. And on your next breath in, let's stretch the arms up and overhead, just continuously, gently tugging the hands apart. As you exhale, bring your hands back down. We'll do this a couple more times, so keep on moving with your own pace. Arms stretch up. Collarbones are broad. As you exhale, bring the hands back down with the strap. Next time you lift your arms up, see if you can imagine your front ribs drawing back. Not to harden the belly, but to feel that pull back to lengthen. So we're not trying to arch the back and dip in here. We're Feeling that strong and tall spine. And the hands come down. Let's lift up one more time. And this time staying there in that lifted position. So arms are reaching up, lifting up through the sides of the body. The front ribs are gently drawing back. And let's lean to one side. So pulling down through the right arm and pulling up through the left arm, leaning over any amount. And once you're leaned over, you might think about pulling the right arm forward and the left arm back, and finding a little revolve open. Let your next breath in bring you back up through the center. And we lean to the other side, exhale. Left arm gently tugs down, right arm gently tugs up, revolving open, breathing here. The sitting bones stay heavy. And gently come back through the center. Stretching up, lifting up in the chest. And exhale, bring your hands back down. Release your strap. And let's actually bring the palms together. Interlace your fingers like you're holding your own hand. And do a little circle of your wrists. So a little bit of movement here. You might even squeeze your fingers together a little tighter and give that space between the fingers a little attention. And gently release the hands and just shake the fingertips out like you're flicking water off the tips of your fingers. And letting go a little bit. Okay, I'm going to stay seated on my blankets here and extend my legs out for staff pose. We'll be here for a little bit of time, so take your time to extend your legs. If your knees are bent here or your legs, the backs of the legs feel really tight, feel free to slide your bolster or your pillow under your knees for some extra support. Can feel grounding and relieving for the backs of the legs when they're really tight. So find what feels good. Hands can come down to your sides here. And maybe on your blankets, just a gentle press of your hands down and press of the heels down. Reaching through the heels, lengthening the back of the legs in that way. So reach, gentle reach through the heels, almost like you're standing up on your legs. You can hug the legs together. Lift up through the armpits, and just like before, we're going to gently hug the front ribs back. Not to tighten or tense up the belly, but to softly draw back. Keep some length and space. Breathing in and breathing out. And notice if your shoulders are up towards your ears. I kind of noticed mine were, so I'm gonna just soften there a little bit. Let my shoulders wiggle out and then recommit. So I'm gonna bring my hands farther out, fingertips down, just to encourage that grounding in the sitting bones. Lifting up and breathing in. You can stay here, or you might choose to fold forward. You can fold any amount. It's thinking about keeping length in your back so the spine stays long, the back of the neck in line with the spine. Breathing in and breathing out. Let's gently start to rise back up, lift your chest. Stacking the spine back on top of the pelvis like it were an extension, a growth coming straight up and out of the pelvis. Breathe in. And breathe out, release, soften, letting the pose go. And while you pause in between here, feel free to do a little bit of hip walking, like a little warm up for the hips. Thinking about your sitting bones with little feet on them, little shoes. Just walking a little bit farther back on your blankets. Just being mindful not to tip and walk over the blankets. And walking forward again. Just a little movement, a little bit of warming up in the hips. Gets the pelvis moving. Just kind of see how your pelvis can move. It's not something that we generally think about moving on its own like we do our hand or our foot. A little different. Let's come back through the center. And you can stay on your blankets here and bring the bottoms of the feet together. We'll do a bound angle, Baddha Konasana. And we'll use the strap again here. So taking the strap this time to the bottoms of the feet. So I'm going to take my strap in between my hands so I have kind of like a zoop. It's going to go under the feet and come out on either sides of the feet, kind of on top of the ankles. And I'm not sure how well you can see that in the video, but I'll just show it again. The strap here goes under the feet and out along either side here. So we have a little something to hold on to on either side here. And holding on to the sides of the strap just encourages this gentle lift of the spine. So we can hold on and sit up tall here as we get this nice opener for the groin, the hips, and grounding in the sitting bones. And taking a couple more breaths. It might feel interesting to bring the knees in a little bit and press the knees down. Something to play around with, a little movement in the hip joint. And it might feel interesting to match that with your breath even. Inhale, squeezing in. Exhale, pressing down. So next time the knees come back down, go ahead and release your strap. Set it off to the side. We'll use it again. And scoop your knees up with your hands. Press them together. We'll move towards a passive chest opener next. So I'm going to set up my props here for you to see, and you can decide how you want to set up for your chest opener. My bolster is going to lie sideways on the mat or perpendicular on the mat here. And I'm going to set one of my blankets back behind it for my head to rest onto. If your bolster or pillow is too high, you could take your blanket and roll it up, or even your mat, you could roll that up and use it as the same kind of a structure for your chest to prop up onto. So I'm gonna lie back nice and carefully. So the soles of the feet are gonna be on the ground here, and I'm gonna roll on back. So the back of the heart is on the bolster. My shoulders and arms are going to rest in that in-between space between my bolster and my blanket. And I'm going to just take the next few minutes, next few moments to to settle in. So sometimes that takes a little bit of wiggling in the shoulder blades over the edge. Maybe adding props. I think I want a little extra height under my head. I'm gonna add an extra blanket. So you decide, right? This is your practice. If you want to lie flat on your back, if that's better for you at this moment, by all means do that. So here we are in this shape of passive chest opening. We'll be here for a couple of minutes. And I'm going to come up and out of the pose. You can continue lying down. And just taking the next few moments to be in your body. What kind of sensation is arising, if anything is coming up for you or seems noticeable. So, right, it's just the inquiry, just the question of what's it like to be me right now? In yoga, this self-study is called svadhyaya, an opportunity to know yourself better. And sometimes that means moving out of a shape in this practice. And sometimes it means staying with something that might be a little bit challenging. Whatever it is, acknowledging that it's the right path for you. It is what it is. You get to decide what I love about these front body openers is it really opens up space for the breath to move. So as you lie on your props, you might notice the pattern of your breath as it moves in and out of your body. And I'd even encourage a little bit of a breath slow down if possible. Letting your inhales extend and your exhales expand. In the next couple of moments, we'll slowly start to make your way out of the pose. You can roll onto your side. Press yourself up with your hands. And we'll move towards a tabletop. Knees can come under the hips. And you have the option here to bring your hands onto the ground, or you can bring your forearms onto your bolster. Your bolster is right there. A stack of blankets would also work. So you can decide. We're in a place of grounding here. And we'll move towards a puppy pose. So if your hands are on the ground, start to walk them forward. I'm going to model this variation first. Walk them forward, and then we'll slowly bring the forearms onto the ground or onto your bolster. And then melt the chest down towards the mat. Your forehead will come down onto the ground. And you can see that my knees and my hips are in the same line here, more or less. My back is extended long. By all means, your forearms can stay resting on your bolster. And I just want to show one more variation. If you'd like to practice puppy from a seat, you can use your chair and walk your hands forward. So we start in a seated fold. We bring the hands onto a chair and just start to inch the hands forward. We're finding that length in the back. The collarbones are reaching forward and the hip creases are gently drawing back. And wherever you are, take in another breath in and another breath out. Slowly come up and out of your puppy. And lift your chest, and let's swing the legs actually out in front so you're in a seat again if you were still in your table. We're going to make our way down onto our backs, and you'll want to bring some props with you. So I'm going to set my blankets just a little bit farther back behind me just in case I want to slide them under my head. And I'll have my bolster off to the left side of my mat here along with my strap, so they're handy. Bring the soles of the feet onto the ground and gently start to roll yourself back. And if you let your head come down on the ground and you think, wow, it would be really nice to have a little bit of cushion there, a little bit of extra layer under my head, you can slide your blankets or blanket under your head. Let's move towards a Supta Padangustasana. Take your strap and let's bring the bottom of the left foot into the strap. Holding on to either side, you can start to reach your leg up towards the ceiling. And it does not need to extend all the way. It could be just a little bit of a reach. We'll be here for a few moments. Your right foot can stay on the ground here, or feel free to stretch it down towards the bottom of the mat. Thinking about your thigh bones of both of your legs, drawing back in towards the pelvis, towards the center of your body. I really like to curl my hands pretty high up onto the strap so my arms can kind of relax back into their sockets. And of course, a little bit of movement is welcome here. If a little bend in the knee and then extending would feel good to you, feel free to move a bit. And we'll move into a different variation here if you'd like. Bringing both sides of the strap into the left hand. I'm going to bring my bolster really close to my left hip. Slide it in real close
So when I drop my leg out to the side, my hip and my outer thigh have some support there, helping assist my leg in that upright shape, so it's not dropping too much towards the ground. Just taking a couple more breaths here, imagining almost like you were standing on your right foot, stamping your foot into the earth that's below it. Let's gently bring the leg back up through the center and bend your right knee. Bring your right foot up to your left and let your right foot take over the strap. Put your right foot into your strap here and reach the leg up. I'm going to bring my left foot down onto the ground just for these first few moments. And actually, I'm going to release my strap for a minute. And take my bolster and bring it to the other side. Bring it over to my right hip. Hold on to either side of your strap here and take a few breaths. Maybe your left leg extends down, finding that reach through both of your heels. Just a gentle extension, nothing too drastic. All right, so you can stay right here and keep on exploring this shape, or bring both hands, or both sides of the strap into your right hand and gently pull your foot over just a couple of inches, nothing too drastic again. As you're extending your leg out to the side, bring some awareness to the back of your body. Noticing your back body regrounding as you extend through the left heel, rolling the left thigh down, the inner thigh down. Grounding through the upper back. Let's slowly bring the leg back through the center. And gently release the foot back down. Let's bring the strap off to the side. You can set that there. We'll be done with the strap for today's class. And we'll move into a reclined tree pose from here. So really you can keep your bolster right where it is. I'm going to tip my right knee out to the right. So both soles of my feet are on the ground. Tip the right knee out. And then extend your left leg down towards the bottom of the mat. And you might even inch your right foot so it matches right up to the inside of your left leg. And then imagine that imaginary ground under your left foot. Just extending, reaching, pressing into it. An option to stretch your arms up and overhead if that would feel good, kind of opening some space here. And notice your back body, the spine supported by the ground. You may even feel a gentle hugging in of your right foot towards the left leg. Good, so pressing in, taking another breath in, expanding. And as you exhale, slowly start to point the right knee back up. Bring the left sole of the foot onto the ground and move your bolster over to the other side of the mat. Let's tip the left knee out. Extend the right leg. So Supta Vrikshasana. our reclined tree pose. Gentle reach through the right heel. So it's kind of natural for the right leg to sort of roll out. But if we were standing on the leg, that wouldn't really be possible. So imagine that pressing down. And the left sole of the foot gently presses into the inside of the right leg, connecting. And then find some length from there. The spine stays long. Maybe the arms stretch up. Expand, breathe in. And as you breathe out, gently bring your hands down. Point the left knee up and bring the right sole of the foot onto the ground. Okay, from here, let's do one more shape, Setu Bandhasana bridge pose with some support. And so the soles of the feet are on the ground, and you can start to lift your hips up enough so you can slide your bolster or stacked blankets under the pelvis. So we find that elevation of the hips here, and you can settle them back down, settling onto your props that you have. Pausing here for a few moments, feeling that connection of your upper back on the ground. Let your hands come to your sides, and let's roll one shoulder under and then the other. So we have a little bit more of a opening across the front of the chest. Maybe you flip your palms down for more grounding. You have the option here to add a little extra challenge, which we'll try Ekapada, which means 1 foot. Eka, 1, pada, foot. We'll stay grounded through the left foot. Bend your right knee and bring it closer to your chest. And then maybe you start to reach it up any amount. The knee does not need to straighten, or the leg does not need to straighten, but it can go in that direction. Pressing through your standing foot, the foot that's on the ground. And take another breath in. And gently bring the foot back onto the earth. When you're ready, left knee comes in towards the chest. And then reach it up any amount. And see if you can soften the throat, let the breath flow through there smoothly. Inhale and exhale. Another breath in. And exhale to gently bring the foot down. Let's pause here for a moment. Pausing, settling, resting. If you'd like, you can go for one more round Ekapada. Right knee draws in. Extend the leg up. And taking a breath in. And a breath out to bring the foot down. Left knee hugs in. Extend the leg up. Breathe in. And breathe out. Bring your foot back down. All right, to come off of your props, begin to press your feet down. Feel the legs engage as you lift your hips up and slide your prop out, gently rolling yourself down. If that feels totally not possible, at this moment, go ahead and roll over onto your side and use your hands to press up and off of your props. Move them out of the way and meet us lying down. We're going to set up for Shavasana, our final rest. And I will offer a support of bringing the bolster under your knees. This adds an extra layer of release for the low back that I really like. If there's anything else that you would like for your rest, getting too comfy, feel free to grab it. If that's a blanket that you want to cover up with, or if you like another position to rest in, by all means, please make your way there. And let your body soften a bit. Let your mind rest. Let your eyes get heavy. Let the inside of the mouth soften. And take rest and let go. You're more than welcome to rest longer. Start to notice your breath. And if you're ready, start to stretch the arms overhead. Bring the soles of the feet onto your bolster or the ground. Roll onto your side. And use your hands, your arms to help press you up into a seat again. Find any props that you would like, some blankets, your bolster to sit up on. And thank you for joining in today's practice. I'm so glad that you could be here and hope to see you soon.